What's up, my friends? Wendy, what's up? Paulina, what's up? What's up? What's up? Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. You guys, this is something you're definitely going to want to sit in and watch, because if you can handle objections in any market, right? Not just real estate, but if you know how to handle objections in any market, guess what? You win. So let's jump into it, because I am 30 minutes late. I fell asleep in my hyperbaric chamber, and yeah. So let's get into it. So I got a couple of notes here, and there's a few things that when it comes to objections, we need to get out of the way first. So there's a few rules that I would like to discuss. So if you are driving, come back and listen to this later. We're on LinkedIn, we're on YouTube, we're on Facebook, we're on Instagram. If you're not driving, awesome, write these down. When you get an objection, all right, when you get an objection, the first thing I want you to think about is treating it like a game, right? Objections aren't the end of the world. They're part of the sales process. So we should expect objections. We should expect questions. We should actually really know our avatar, and we should know what they're going to say. So like, let's say, for example, you're calling an expired listing. Well, I know from expired listings that they're going to say, well, we're going to keep the home and think about renting it, or we're going to just keep the house because, right, they're in pain. And when people are in pain, they just say silly things. So we know certain things are going to come up. Do you know what your prospect is going to say? Do you know what your avatar's pains are, right? What are buyers' pains? What are sellers' pains? What are expired's pains? If you don't know the pain, right, then it's hard to do the next step. So the first thing is you got to know your prospect, right? Who is your client? What are their fears? What are their aspirations? Like, where are they going? Where do they want to go? What are they scared of? What keeps them up at night right now? And that is going to help you with a lot of what we're doing. So the first thing we have to do, though, number one, is we got to treat objections like a game. All right. So when you get it, we expect it. We're ready for it. We're prepared, and we're not going to freak out. The second thing is, when you get an objection, I'm curious to know, did anybody ever tell you that you should speak really fast when you get objections? Let me close my window here. Super loud. All right, there we go. So did anybody ever tell you that when you get an objection, you need to speak super fast? No, but almost all untrained salespeople, when you get an objection, you get a pit in your stomach and you go, ugh, and it's like the world's coming to an end, and you start talking really fast. And what happens when we get objections and we're unprepared is we talk at the client instead of having the two-way conversation that allows us to see where they're coming from. So a lot of times when people say, hey, here's an example. What do you, I just lost my train of thought here. Oh, have you ever sold any homes in our neighborhood? Right? That comes up often for people in listing appointments. Have you ever sold any homes in our neighborhood? And unfortunately, most agents, and I did this in the past when I didn't know what to say, right? When I was new in the business, I didn't know what to say. And I'd start spewing, oh, well, I've sold this many millions of dollars, and I've sold this many homes, and I've sold this, and I didn't isolate why the prospect was asking me that question in the first place, right? So when you get an objection, slow down, stop, and just think, okay, where are they coming from? And you're going to need to ask questions. So number two is, don't talk fast, right? It's not necessary. The third part, right? The third rule is, don't buy into what they're saying. So let's say you're calling somebody and they're like, oh my God, I'm really busy. Can you call me back? Oh yeah, sure. Not a problem. Oh yeah, sure. Not a problem. Oh yeah. Well, real quick. Really quick. Where are you going to move to? Are you pre-approved? Right. And people start spewing out things left and right because they're unprepared. And I've heard this. I've seen this in my own office because we sold over $200 million in real estate. I've seen this happen, right? We're part of like awesome real estate offices. I listened to other agents that sold a lot of real estate spew things out like this, right? And it's not that you hate prospecting. You hate prospecting because you don't know what to say when somebody says something to you like, hey, we're busy, call me back later, right? So you bought their excuse, right? They didn't buy your excuse. You bought theirs. And guess what? Aren't we all trained to say the same thing? When you get a solicitor's call, don't you say the same thing when somebody calls you that you don't know, right? So if you say that to them, why wouldn't they say that to you? And if you listen to how they respond, you're probably not very different if you're not prepared, if you haven't been training, if you haven't been practicing, right? You wouldn't get on a NFL like Super Bowl field and go up against, the Patriots or the 49ers or whoever wins the Super Bowl. You're not going to go up against them unprepared without padding and everything. I mean, shit, even if you have padding, you're going to get your ass kicked. You're not going to do that. But you do that every day in sales, right? And a lot of people are like, well, I'm learning things from my broker and I'm going to the team meetings and we're doing this and that. You guys, your brokerage, their responsibility in today's market is changed from 30 years ago. Their responsibility is to keep you out of legal problems, right? That's their real responsibility, is to keep you out of legal problems, keep you up to date with the legal things. They're not expert sales coaches. If they were, more people would succeed. It's just very difficult to teach sales, right? It's just very difficult. And most people, they've never sold $100 million on their own. They've never sold $200 million. They've never had a 7-figure year. So your goals are being entrusted by somebody who you might not even know if they've ever done what you want to do. Like, that's crazy to me. All right. Number 1, 2, 3, 4. Number 4 is build the steps that are replicatable so that you're going to feel comfortable, right? Build steps that are replicatable, and we'll go into this, but build steps that are replicatable so that you feel comfortable. How do you do that? Well, you write down your objections, right? You write down your scripts. You write down 30 or 40 things that you're going to get from buyers and sellers and expireds. And the more you write these down, the more you practice them, the more you're going to win. Number 5, when you do this, you're going to do what we call reassuring the prospect. Excuse me. Let me get some water. You guys might want to hydrate up a little bit too. It's getting hot out there, I hear. When you can reassure the prospect, right? When you can reassure the prospect, they are going to have more trust in you. And when they have trust in you and your processes, they will open up. But unfortunately, if you don't follow the steps above, you're not going to be able to reassure the prospect. And then you're going to be like, well, I had this really great conversation with them and I thought they really liked me. And I don't really know where I went wrong, Vikram. Okay, well, tell me, like, let's see your process. Let's see your sales process. What kind of objections do you have written down? We don't have any. Oh, okay. Well, that's probably why. You probably did do a good presentation. And then they started asking you questions and you didn't know what to do. So you panicked. And unfortunately, when you panicked, you lost control. And they could sense it, right? They can sense that something shifted and you get a little bit edgy and twitchy. A lot of salespeople get a little combative. Unfortunately, they don't realize it, but you actually get a little combative. The 5th thing is you have to be able to discern between concerns and objections. Number 6 is you don't want to be reactional. You want to be tactical, right? Reaction is you freak out and panic. Tactical is you know exactly what you're going to say. You're cool, calm, and collected, and you're able to deliver that to the prospect. And then the 7th thing is you want to stay conversational, right? And when you stay conversational by using the verbal cues and the pauses and the ums and the ohs, right? Hey, I was just curious. You asked the question about, my neighborhood expert. I guess I'm curious, like, where did that come from? Like, why do you mean, like, what do you mean by that? Right? Oh, well, our friend told us that, we should hire somebody who knows what they're doing in my neighborhood. Oh, okay. And I guess, like, why did your friend say that to you? Oh, because they said that if you hire somebody from outside of the neighborhood, right? If you hire somebody from outside of the neighborhood, they might not be able to price your home right. Oh, okay. So what you're saying is you want an agent who's an expert at pricing homes. Yes. Oh, okay. Well, Let me show you what we do. Because now you identified, right? Now you have identified the prospect's actual concern. So you've taken it from we want a neighborhood expert, and instead of telling them all the things that you do that make you the greatest agent in the world, you've now answered what their true concern is that somebody told them that they might need to hire somebody in the neighborhood. And the reason why they should hire somebody in the neighborhood is so that they can accurately price your home, because in 2023, homes that are mispriced don't sell, but homes that are priced well still do. And in fact, in a lot of markets, and I was talking to a couple clients yesterday in our real estate sales dojo where we actually practice and role play these things live, right? I was talking to one of our clients yesterday and they were saying like, yeah, we actually use this and it helped us get the deal, right? So when you're cool, calm, and collected, things change. So let's get into it. Why don't we talk about a couple of objections that keep coming up? So let's say you're calling leads, right? Let's say you're calling leads and you call into somebody and they say, hey, I'm really busy. Can you call me back? Right? Have you ever got I'm really busy, call me back? Have you ever got I'm really busy, call me back? Right? Just put a yes in the chat. If you're watching this on the replay, just put a yes in the chat. But has anybody ever told you, hey, call me back later, I'm really busy? And that's pretty normal, right? Well, the first thing is, are you buying into them or are they buying into you? So when I get a hold of somebody that I've been calling for months and months and months, or I know that if I get a hold of somebody and I don't have a great conversation with them up front, it might be months and months and months until I get them back on the phone. I'm not buying into their crap because I say the same shiz to salespeople. And if they don't have something great to say back to me, guess what? I hang up the phone. So when somebody says, hey, can you call me back? Try this. Say, oh, yeah, that's not a problem, Bob. It won't take very long. Now, when it comes to selling your home, and then you go right back into your script, right? Hey, yeah, Bob, that's not a problem. This won't take very long. I guess when it comes to purchasing a home, what was the most important thing, right? Why did you reach out and talk about it? And guess what, you guys, when we start asking questions and then we get into a conversation, they're going to forget that they even told you that they were busy, right? They picked up the phone. Do busy people pick up the phone? No, they don't. They don't pick up the phone. Oh, why'd you, oh, I thought you were somebody else. Okay. Yeah, no, not a problem. This isn't going to take very long. Right. So you have to be able to diffuse and deflect the person, because if you don't, guess what's going to happen? You're going to buy into their story and they're going to win. Now, let's say you're calling somebody and they say, oh, I'm not interested, right? I'm not interested. I'm just looking at some notes here, some objections that my clients are getting. We're not interested in buying right now. What does that mean? Right? We don't know what that means. So when somebody says I'm not interested, right? Yeah, that's not a problem. I mean, I can understand you don't know much about us, right? The reason I'm calling is because I was curious about why you guys inquired about purchasing homes a while ago. Why you guys even inquired about purchasing homes in the first place? I was just curious, like, why did you reach out about the ad at 123 Banana Street? And they'll start to talk. And then if you're conversational, right? Oh, really? And when you say, how do you mean by this? Right? But what a lot of salespeople do is they'll say something and they have no verbal cues and they have no pauses. They're not communicating properly. And they'll say like, oh, okay, yeah. And then they'll be silent. And then the prospect will say something and then they'll be silent and they'll say, okay, yep, that makes sense. Yeah, that I can understand that. Well, when we say that makes sense, or if we say something like, oh, rates are really high. Oh yeah, I can understand that. You just validated the fact that they don't need to buy because the rates are high, right? What does that even mean? Rates are high. What does that even mean? What does that mean? Right? Okay. And when you say rates are high, I guess where specifically do you need rates to be for you to think about purchasing a home? Well, we'd like them to be a little bit lower. Well, yeah, I understand, that everybody would like the rates to be lower. However, like where specifically where specifically do you need to see the rate in order for you to purchase a home? Because remember, they reached out to you. You're not going to say that to them, but they reached out to you. They raised their hand. They came to an open house. They filled out an online form, right? They went on to Zillow or realtor.com. So if you're not able to isolate what they're talking about by asking questions and getting to the emotional part of why they reached out, you're all logic, and logic says rates are high, don't buy. Logic says rates are high, don't sell. Logic says stay put. Well, we don't even know if they're renting. Like, you guys, let's just stop here for a second. You have people that want to buy a home that are currently renting a home. Okay. You have people that want to buy a home that are currently renting a home. Why are we not out there telling those people that it's 100% interest? Why are we not out there telling those people that the minute rates drop, prices are going to go up in multiple offers? Why are we out there I have a client in Toronto. He's like, Vic, I lost 3 bids last month. I was like, bro, why didn't you tell me first? Like, why didn't you call me when you were writing these offers? That's what I'm here for. Let me help you. Right? He's like, it happened so fast. He's like, the market just shifted so fast on me. And I was just like beyond myself, because he's like, things just shift super fast. Well, why aren't we out there educating buyers that if they buy now, when the prices go up, they're sitting in equity, right? If rates come down, they can refinance potentially, right? We don't need to say stupid shit like marry the house and date the rate. Like, that's dumb. That's dumb. But you can't say, hey, if you guys buy now, right, where are all the buyers in the market going to be? Where are all the buyers that are sitting on the sidelines? What are they going to do when rates come back down to where you think it's a good time to buy and they think it's a good time to buy? Well, I don't know. Well, if you had to think about it, where are they going to be? Well, they're going to be all competing for the same property, which means prices are going to go up, and it's going to be a 2021 mini 2021 scenario. And they're not ready for that. They don't want to deal with that. You don't want to deal with that. So why don't you help them get into a home now and then help them refinance their home when it's time and they get to sit on a bunch of equity? And yes, people might have to live a little bit farther, but guess what? If they're renting, why would you want to pay 100% interest? Well, we're saving up. Okay. And are you going to be able to save money as fast as prices are appreciating when the market's no? Oh, okay. Well, then what are we going to do? Right? These are the conversations you need to be having with every single buyer, because there's no such thing as a now buyer. There's no such thing as a now seller, right? Maybe a now seller, maybe a now buyer, maybe 20%, 30% of the market in this day and age. But most of your clients are going to become now buyers and now sellers based off of your ability to ask great questions and get to the emotional truth of why they reached out to you. If you can do that, you will sell millions and millions of dollars, and you will position yourself to be the winning agent when the market shifts, and you are going to be in front of all those people when all the other agents are like, we just need now leads. We need now leads. Guys, you have to create the urgency in the client. The now buyers and sellers, but the majority of the market, the now buyers and sellers are created by you. All right, I got to roll. I got another call. Got to go teach some people how to make some sales. I hope you got a lot of goodness out of this. Please, please, please do me a favor. Go back, watch this over again. There's a lot of little things in here that you can pick up. All right, so go back, watch this again. If you're not inside the Real Estate Sales Dojo on Facebook, please join that group, because that's where we're going over lots of different things. And I add a lot of little value adds that I don't give to the general public. And if you really want to take your sales to the next level and go from 1 or 2 sales to 3 or 4 or 5 or 6, right, and go to 20, 30, 40, 50, 60K, like one of my clients, Kuval in LA, who just put $3 million into escrow last week. And no, it wasn't just one sale, right? If you want to learn, just DM me the word agent, or just type agent in anywhere you see on any platform you're on, and me or my team will get back to you with next steps, and we'll go from there. I'll talk to you later. Peace out.